Well, if you didn't look closely, you'd think we were driving a Mazda CX-50 or our long-term Mazda 3. But no, today we're absolutely thrilled to be driving the brand new 2023 Mazda CX-50. Well, good day, everybody. Let's go ahead and start this up. Yeah, so welcome to the 2023 Mazda CX-50. And the key today, the big key, is that almost all the reviews you've seen out there so far on this car have been about the turbo. But today, we're not doing that. We have the standard base engine, just that 2.5 naturally aspirated. It's the same one you'll find most people have in their CX-30s and in their Mazda 3. So yeah, we're gonna get this out on the highway, talk about fuel economy, talk about the incredible amount of trim levels that this thing has, and yeah, and then just give you some highly opinionated thoughts on this new vehicle from Mazda. All right, let's hop out, take a look. Yeah, so one thing to keep in mind is that this new CX-50 was made just for the North American market. The CX-5 is Mazda's world car, and it's not going anywhere. There's no way they're gonna dink with that bread and butter. And the other thing is that this is built at the plant in Alabama, the new plant, the new Toyota Venture plant alongside the Toyota Corolla Cross. Now, as far as styling, Mazda just doesn't know how to make a bad looking vehicle. And this one is just awesome looking. It's basically 6 inches longer than the CX-5, just a more rugged overall appearance. You do have on this premium trim, that's where you jump up to the 20-inch wheels. If you go back down to the preferred 17-inch, there's a really big jump there. You do have a lot of plastic cladding on this, but again, that's sort of that's sort of fitting with what Mazda is trying to do here. Again, all-wheel drive, very capable all-wheel drive system on this. Check out Driving Sports TV. He does the best off-road assessments of all cars, and I'm pretty sure he has done a CX-50. Now again, as shown, this one's sitting right around 37, 38K. This is the Premium Plus on the exterior. Again, this one is in white. I think it's a wind chill pearl. Mazda just nails all their paint colors for a white. This looks really good, especially with the contrasting black. Almost all trim levels, I think, get this powered opening hatch. When you get into the back of this, I think it's a little bit bigger. This feels like a RAV4-ish kind of space back here. You get this kind of cut off, which drops it down, but pretty good depth. You also get, get a spare tire, compact of course, and you get these really nice seat throw downs. Super duper, very, very nice. Pretty quick closing and opening on that. Now the other nice thing is you get this really wide opening rear door, which just makes entry and exit back here really, really nice. This is where this CX-50 is gonna shine, and that's just with the rear cabin room. As far as the overall interior, these seats don't recline or go forward or back, but man, they are really, really comfortable, as Mazda typically does. Most things back here are pretty good quality. Everything touches pretty nice. I wouldn't say it's the highest quality I've seen in a back seat, but Mazda hasn't really skimped too much back here. You do get 2 USBs down here again, and then you also get the you get the panorama sunroof, which a lot of people like, but it really makes this a pleasant place for your passengers. Again, that's going to be the big difference between this and a CX-5. It's going to be a little bit more space in this back seat. Now, if you jump up to the premium trim, you do get a 6-way powered passenger seat. Then once you hop over here on the passenger side, it's very, very nice visibility. It's really, really good for the passenger. If you've ever been in any of the CX-50s, or I'm sorry, the CX-30 or the Mazda 3, this interior is gonna feel right at home. There's really no point in reviewing it. Go check out any video on the interior of those. All the buttons, switch gears are the same. You get a nice big screen up there. My only knock on the interior really is this center vent. It's not really the vent itself. It just kind of looks like a hole in the dash. You know, where these have a nice surround, this has nothing. So a little bit like a hole or an afterthought. I'm not a big fan of the stitching. It just looks like it's not tight enough along there, but overall pretty good. The other thing I'm not a fan of is this split opening center console, and then trying to get to the two USBs down in there is a little bit, you know, it's okay. I'm not gonna knit that too much, but I'm not a big fan of this split opening here. I much prefer R3, which just pops up. All right, so you see basic backup camera. No, even on this Premium Plus trim level, there's no 360 surrounds or anything. There's not even grid lines, but you know, I think 360 surround, well, some people might want that. Let's see, some other key features on this Premium Plus. You do get ventilated seats on the Premium Plus, and also your heated seats. The only way to get a heated steering wheel or heated rear seats is to go all the way up to the top dog turbo trim. But other nice things on here, you do get wireless Apple CarPlay. Now, it works pretty well, just like almost all wireless CarPlay systems I've had. There's always that 1 in 10 times that it does not hook up, and it's frustrating, and it always seems like when you're in traffic or something like that, but it works pretty well. There is no wireless charging in this car, so you're gonna just hook it up with a wire anyway. Other thing with Apple CarPlay in here is when the vehicle is stopped, Mazda will let you use this as a touchscreen. Again, it's far away, but big, beautiful screen. I really like the screen in this. It's a standard Mazda fare, just a little bit bigger in this CX-50. Mazda also gives you the full safety suite that they do in all their cars, pretty much blind spot monitoring. You know, the Mazda system's just a very non-intrusive thing. It's not going to take over steering like some of the systems out there. It's very non-intrusive. It still lets you be the driver. All the chimes are nice and pleasant, so nothing wrong there. Now, this Premium Plus does have a heads-up display. That is something that I can live without. I guess it's nice, but I always find them a little bit annoying and do not need that. But yeah, the trim levels in this CX-50 are dizzying, the amount of trim levels that Mazda has for you. And I think you should be able to find something in there that meets your needs at a variety of different prices. Again, once you get into the preferred trim levels, I think that is the starting point for value in the low 30s, which is pretty good. This Premium Plus, once you get into the premium trim, that's where you get that powered driver's seat and some other little goodies. But all in all, I think you could live with the preferred trim level, other than if you really like your music and you want the Bose 12 speaker system. It is really good, but Mazda also offers a pretty good bass system in all their cars. So, you know, that's your choice if you're a real music fan or really want a high quality stereo. But today we're gonna talk about this bass engine, and is this bass engine enough? Is it enough to power this vehicle along? So that's what we're out here trying to find out. I will tell you that it's taken me a couple days of driving this around to kind of get used to its heft. This is a very heavy feeling vehicle, and I'm contrasting that to something like a RAV4 or even to the CX-5. This car feels bigger, it's got a longer wheelbase than those two cars, and it's got a lot more width to it. So you kind of feel like you're driving something a little bit bigger, and it also feels a little bit heavier. And that's gonna really play into whether you're gonna, if you're out shopping for a CX-5 and you really kind of want this CX-50, I will tell you without, you know, if you don't watch any more of this video, they did not drive the same. They do not handle the same. This one has a much bigger feeling to it. It's just not quite as light and nimble as that CX-5. However, is that a bad thing? I would say no, because even with all of that, this is still one of the most delightful compacts are getting large, one of the most delightful compact crossovers you can drive. Now, let's go ahead and try the sport drive mode here, and we're gonna dig out. All right, right, doing our uphill dig there to 60 miles per hour. For almost all people, this base engine will be just fine. Now, the thing here is that this weighs about as much as a CX-5, and for years, this base engine in the CX-5 was fine. It wasn't until that turbo came along where all the auto journalists started whining about the base engine. But the CX-5 has been a car and driver favorite for years, even with the base engine. So here we are with this base engine, and I'm gonna tell you, it's fine. Straight line acceleration, yes, it feels a little bit pokey off the line, but all in all, it feels adequate. So it's willing to rev, and it sounds pretty good when it's doing it. So I really don't have any problems with this as the base engine. Now, the steering in this is pretty heavy for its class. You're not going to find steering this heavy of a feel. However, it is lighter than what you'll find in like a CX-30 or a Mazda 3. I think it's perfectly weighted. I really like the weighting of the steering, and I almost prefer it a little bit more to our Mazda 3 because it's in slower speed stuff, it's not quite as fatiguing. So I think Mazda's really done a really nice job on the weight of the steering. So all in all, I'd just say this just doesn't have that light on its feet feeling of the CX-5, but it handles really, really well. And after a couple days of driving this, I got really used to it. I got really confident in how it runs around the turns. It's you know, it has a little bit of that Mazda body lean that that Mazda dials into all their cars. However, you're sitting up here, so you kind of got to get used to that a little bit. So all in all, the handling is pretty good. Ride quality. Now, ride quality is interesting in this car because it definitely is on the firm side. You will feel the bumps. There is nothing floaty about this suspension. I would imagine the 17-inch wheels will give you a little bit better ride than these 20s. But yeah, if you like to feel the road, that's what Mazda is about feeling the road and feeling engaged. And this CX-50 does that for you. Yeah, this is pretty fun to drive, even with this base engine. I got this thing hustling along pretty good on this road, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. Oh, lots of lean there. Whoa. Kind of going up these hills. This accelerates just like the CX-5. So if you're familiar with that acceleration, I think you're talking high 8s, low 9s to 60. It really doesn't matter in Mazdas because of how responsive and linear the drivetrain is. Now let's go ahead and do some braking. Oh, you always have to secure your devices before you do this. Now, the braking in this is super phenomenal. Also, very strong, confident brakes. The brake pedal's a little bit mushier than what I'm used to in our Mazda 3. It's just a tad softer, but the overall braking is very, very good. Now, the other area that's you may want to consider the turbo engine is towing. This has about 2,000 pounds of towing. The turbo will give you 3,500 pounds of towing. So when it comes to fuel efficiency, miles per gallon, I'll go ahead and pop up the mainstream competitors to the CX-50. And as you can see there, this doesn't, this is not leading the class by no means, even in this non-turbo form. Now, if you're thinking about a CX-5 or the turbo version of this, they're right in there within 1 mpg of each other. Now, I'm also going to pop up the mainstream. No, I'm going to jump up to the premium brand offerings that would sort of be in consideration here. The GLB, the X3, etc. So you can see right there, pop the nose up, this CX-50 in turbo is right in line with all of those. And again, you don't have to use premium if you don't want to. You'll just be down a little bit on horsepower. All right, let's get her up to speed and cruise a little on the highway. Now, as far as interior noise, I'm gonna say it's average. I feel like I'm talking a little louder in here than in R3. Wind noise is pretty good. Again, these are big kind of boxes with a lot of surface area, so of course there's going to be a little bit more wind rush. These 20-inch wheels do have some road noise. Closing in on 80 miles per hour here and just shy of 2,500 RPM. So I think this is geared a little bit lower in sixth because of the weight to keep the transmission from downshifting so much. Yeah, I'd say it's on par with a RAV4 as far as, it's standard for its class. It doesn't feel luxury quiet. However, check out our Mercedes MLB, my all-time favorite small SUV. That thing is much louder than this out here on the highway. So yeah, pretty good. Seat comfort I did not mention, but these are pretty comfortable. I think the seat bottoms are a little hard, but overall, Mazda does a good job with their seats. So I could cruise in this all day, especially with that 12-speaker. Bose does a really nice job. All right, let's come back down to 65 and punch it. There's 80. Not gonna knock your socks off. But the turbo is interesting, and the Mazda CX-5 and the CX-50 are interesting because, it's kind of like you're getting two levels of car. You basically get the mainstream car that competes with the RAV4s and the CR-Vs of the world. And if you go to the turbo, then you're jumping up into sort of premium. So it's kind of a two-tier driving experience. The other nice thing is you're buying a Mazda because you like to be a little bit different. You enjoy driving. You appreciate a regular transmission, and you don't want to blend in that sea of all these other crossovers. So Mazda's always given you that choice, and that's why you'd think about something like this CX-50. Let's get this back, and I'm going to give you my final what I would consider interesting commentary on this CX-50. Okay, let's wrap this up and provide final thoughts. As far as the CX-5 versus the CX-50, Mazda, let's just celebrate the fact that Mazda has given us all another great choice here. So you just have to go out, check them both out, decide which one works for you. Now, the other intriguing thing that I have heard is that apparently there might be a chance of getting Toyota's hybrid system in this, or what would really be cool is if they could do the plug-in hybrid in this. And I think that would be a game changer as far as those who want Mazda driving dynamics, but are a little concerned about fuel economy. So let's just wait and see on that. Okay, so 3 other thoughts as far as buying. You go out, you really like this car, you're on a budget, do the base engine, keep this in the low 30s, don't really go beyond the preferred trim level. Just buy it and enjoy it. It's going to last you, it's going to be reliable, and you're going to have all that utility and this great all-wheel drive system. The second type of buyer would be that who does like that oomph of the turbo. You are hauling people around, lots of cargo. You truly are throwing bikes and people and gear and all that stuff. Stick with the base model turbo, 37K. You're not going to find anything in the 35 to 40K range that drives like that. And yes, also a good value. And then there's sort of that third category of buyer, and that's that premium buyer out there looking at the X3s of the world and the Q5s and the Mercedes GLCs and GLBs. For that buyer, you should go out and check out a fully tricked out, top of the line turbo of this puppy in the low to mid 40s and save yourself some cash. You're gonna be really, really thrilled with how this drives and how it looks. So leave us your questions and comments, or if you own one of these, we'd love to hear from you. So again, thanks for watching today. We really appreciate it, and have a great day, morning or evening, wherever you may be. So opening the sunroof here. What? Is that all you get? Jeez.